Day 3 of the World Para Athletics Championships in Dubai. We're at the Dubai Club for People of Determination in the east of the city by the airport. Great facilities here, and absolutely, in Middle East terms, really healthy, encouraging, thumping crowds for the opening 2 days in Dubai. There are 25 gold medals to be decided in day 3. This morning session has 5 of them. And we've got 3 finals getting underway straight away. The men's club throw F32, men's shot put F37. They're the coordination events. Women's long jump T11, complete visual impairment. We've got 1 track final this morning and 14 tonight. It's the women's 200 meters T64, the recently introduced single below knee amputee category. The likes of Imgard Ben Suzanne, Marlon van Ganswinkel, Mita Ayan-Becker, the United States, all involved in that. It's a bit cloudy and overcast today, which for the heat is very welcome, and there's many who would like it to stay this way all day, because the temperatures have been in the 30s all week. 28 Celsius right now. Humidity is a little bit higher than usual. Now the wind speed kicked up a little bit yesterday evening. At the moment it's only 9 kilometers, but it could go up a bit. Weather's supposed to be quite bad this weekend, but we'll see if that comes to pass. Three gold medals across the opening 2 days for each of China, Brazil and Finland. Pekatati and Kataya doing marvellously. Rushdie with a gold for Bulgaria and Stoyanov. And 1 apiece for Australia, India, Uzbekistan, Ukraine coming in one of the women's long jump events last night. Tunisia, Great Britain through Paul Blake, Canada through Brent Lakatos, Colombia, Iran, Italy, Sunta Lanyate in the F12 shot put, but she herself is completely visually impaired. Poland, we're all going there next year for the European Paralympics Championships. Mexico, Russia, Belgium, Croatia, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia have all medals so far. Nigeria, Portugal, Syria, and bronzes so far for Azerbaijan, Spain, Serbia, Thailand, and the other nation at the bottom. 32 countries have medalled thus far out of the 120 plus who are here. Very good morning from Will Downing, and hello to Tulson Tollett.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon or good evening, wherever you may be around the world. For day 3 of these World Para Athletics Championships. Plenty to look forward to in the morning session, especially if you've never seen the T11 long jump. We will have the women's T11 long jump, which will be coming up very shortly indeed, due to get underway at 6 minutes past 9 local time. The athletes I can see down getting ready at the moment. Photographers are ready. Support staff are ready. We're all ready to get going here on day 3. As you mentioned a moment or two ago, Will, is slightly cooler here than it has been the past couple of mornings. Welcome relief for the athletes. Getting set up down there for the club throw and the shot put, which will be in the men's categories, in the F32 for the club throw, F37 for the shot put in the early events. There'll also be qualification for the men's javelin throw, F34 as well. So loads to look forward to. Just the 1 final on the track in the morning session. many, many more in the evening. That there is the T11 long jump. You can see, just to explain the guide there, complete visual impairment, so they'll generally clap their hands, signals will be given, and the athlete knows when to jump off that long board. There's that breeze we spoke about, really kicked up somewhat into the athlete's face last night. Similar this morning, it was a reading of around negative 1.1 for most of the evening last night. Palm trees flowing in the breeze.
I actually think as well the reason why they're going, if you like, from the finish line up towards the 100-meter start, because they can go in either direction. We've got 4 pits, 2 on either side. Basically, I think it's because of the sun. Just there's no glare in the face or anything like that. Even though they're going into a headwind, you'd prefer the tailwind, obviously. Got a little bit of extra centimeters into the sand. And for all of the long jump competitions we've had so far, we have not had a single reading for any athlete that has been in their favor. It has always been a tailwind. It hasn't even been 0. I think the calmest wind that anybody's jumped into is something like minus 0.6. Complete visual impairment for the T11s.
That was Yulia Pavlenko getting herself ready there and warmed up, and you can just see there by that little flag blowing in the breeze, just to give you an idea that there is somewhat of a slight breeze. If anything though, with the athletes this morning who are doing the long jump, it's actually going with them. Coming in that opposite direction, as you can see there, last evening was when the wheelchair racers, the other athletes on the track, were really had a headwind coming into them. So for the T11 long jump this morning for the women's, it's almost going slightly with them in their favour. Bit of a swirling breeze, changes directions every now and then. But generally last night it was a headwind on pretty much every occasion. Final warm-up is taking place. We'll be ready to get underway with the women's T11 long jump in just a couple of minutes' time. Now that gives you an idea of how difficult it can be as well. I was just talking to yourself, Will, a moment ago, when we go back 4 years to Doha and Lex Gillette, when he basically hit the side boarding because he went so far wide that when he jumped, he almost jumped and injured himself into the side boarding. He was lucky to get away with a very minor knock on that occasion, but it can be quite a difficult event for anyone who's out there watching. Just imagine blindfolding yourself and running down the track with absolutely no vision at all, and then having to jump from a board. So you need the guide to help you into a position to make sure you're running straight and to make sure when you need to jump. Loads of practice goes into it. Really difficult to do. And these athletes, you have to really pay them loads of respect for an event like this, because you are basically, literally, running blind and then having to jump.
Literally a leap of faith and so much trust, an incredible amount of trust in your guide, who plays an astonishing role here. It is quite something. I mean, it is one of the trademark events. I would say for people who would only really watch para-athletics when the Paralympic Games are on, because obviously that's when it's on most TV channels, that's when it gets the most exposure. This has to be one of the things that stands out. But of course, if you're a general sports fan who's tuned in for the Paralympics and has kept with us for the European and the World Championships. We massively appreciate it. Next year, Tokyo, and obviously Bydgoszcz for the European Para-Athletics Championships. We've got 10 in this women's long jump T11 final, so this is the field event we'll be seeing generally the most of during the morning. There's quite a bit happening in the track too to watch out for.
Come on for the presentation, please.
Of course, if you are relatively new, we'll try and explain as briefly as possible each category. The 3 visual impairment categories. The 11s, as we're seeing here, complete visual impairment. 12 is what we would call medium visual impairment of the 3 categories, but there's very, very limited vision. And that's the case also with the T13s, which, for brevity commentary purposes, since we've started doing this in 2012, we've just termed as least visual impairment, but I trust you, the visual impairment is still, from a day-to-day basis, gigantic. Anyway, we've started with Lorena Salvatore Spalladori of Brazil, the 2013 long jump champion Jackie Takada of Japan, Janjira Pianetib of Thailand, Azila Mirza Yurova of Uzbekistan. We've already got a gold on the board. Great jumping nation, Victoria Karlsson from Sweden.
Merrick player Faust will be up next, of Spain, the silver medalist at the European Championships last year in Berlin. And then Zhuao Guoha of China, gold medalist in the Asian Para Games last year, the current 100 and 200 meters T11 world champion. Ayola Dijaj of Italy, lifetime best for her of 4:67. Namibia's Ishitila, her lifetime best set this year for the African, and Yulia Pavlenko of Ukraine, also setting her lifetime best of 4.70 this year. The championship and world record is held by Silvania Costa de Oliveira of Brazil. Championship record set in Doha 4 years ago. World record set in her home Paralympics at Brazil in 2016. So 10 in the field. Due to get underway in the coming moments. Takes a little bit longer than normal events, this one. Obviously due to the fact that guys need to get into position. Athletes need to have complete silence as well for this event. So if you see the crowd being calmed and being asked to just make sure they keep the noise down, that's because of the guide needing to make sure that the athlete can hear the chants and hear the claps as they go in.
So when we had this event last year at the Europeans, it also coincided with the day that they decided to bring all the schools in. So that was a lot of fun. It took quite a while extra to get the leaps done, because obviously in the case of a lot of the school kids who had come in from the locality in northeast Berlin, they'd never seen anything like this before, so they were chattering, hey, look at that, isn't that quite something?
Men's shot put F37 also taking place early on, as is the men's club throw F32. Obviously in those seated events, the athletes take all their goes at one time, whereas in the T11 long jump it'll be each person takes separate turns. And we're about to get underway.
Yes.
Lorena Salvatini, Spoladore of Brazil, will take the opening jump.
Well, I think she's stepped beyond.
She's way over. Red flag. That's what we talk about. It comes down to having silence. It comes down to listening to the guide. So all of a sudden your hearing sensors become completely attuned to what you need to hear. But this time, we'll see here, she steps way, way over the mark. There. No doubt whatsoever about that one. Just to understand that big board there, they'll take the measurement from where the athlete actually jumps.
Well, she has class. She took the gold in this in Lyon in 2013. Salvatini Spoladora. Second to go for Japan. Chiaki Takada, who won silver in the Asian Games in Jakarta last year. Her husband, Yuji, by the way, won a bronze in the Deaf World Championships in London in 2012. Well, that looks fine. Straight as a die. Excellent technique. No problem with wavering or anything like that. And guess what? They actually now have a tailwind in their favor for the first time this week. Nice landing from Takada as well. And a reminder, it'll take longer for the results to come up here because there are two measurements being done from the takeoff point and the chalk to the first point where they're landing. And that has to be done manually. So that's the lead, 4.65 for Chiaki Takada. This is the first time we've covered this event as well, where you can hear the officials actually just calling it out. So there's no point shielding it until the caption comes up, because we've all heard it. Next for Thailand, Janjira Pantayib. Her first global championship based in Lampag, finished 5th in the long jump last year in the Asian Para Games in Jakarta. Oh God! Well, she went early, and that's what can happen. And she was there thinking she was going to land in the sand, and she absolutely didn't. That was a hard landing. Needless to say, that's a red flag, but hopefully that's the worst of it for her.
So the first of the track events, the men's 400 metres T12 semi-final. Now we were due.
Time on the track for the semi-finals of the men's T12 400 metres.
There are 4 going in this, including the man who's the championship record holder and gold medalist in this event and the 200 in 2017, Mahdi Afri of Morocco, who will go from lane 5. So this one, the medium visual impairment. We spoke about the T11 being complete visual impairment, where they have to wear the mask and run with a guide. T12s have got the option with a guide or without. Hakan Sira of Turkey. He was 6th in this event back in 2017 in London. He won bronze at the 2016 European Championships in Grosseto. He'll go from lane 7. There's the man I mentioned, Mahdi Afri, the reigning champion, in the 400 and also the 200. Silver in Grosseto back in 2016, but this is a huge event for the Moroccan. And Pham of Vietnam, silver at last year's Asian Para Games, will go from lane 3. His lifetime best set this year, 50.75. And from the first lane, from Botswana, the 19-year-old, his first major championships, Edwin Masugi. Also a lifetime best set this year. The first will go through to the final, and after that, out of the 3 heats taking place, it will be the next fastest qualifier. So that man there will start as clear favourite. Mahdi Afri
On your mark.
of Morocco, born on New Year's Day in 1996. Three heats of 4 in each in this event, this being number 1. So Masugi of Botswana goes in 1, Pham of Vietnam in 3, Afri of Morocco in 5, and Sera of Turkey goes in 7, and they get away with no issues whatsoever. And Afri gets away quickly, as you would expect. He's trying to work up on the outside, and Hakan Sera of Turkey, but also doing well is Pham of Vietnam. He's moved up on the inside of Mahdi Afri. It's a case of now, can he hold his form as they move through the last 200 metres, and being left well behind, it's Edwin Masugi of Botswana. So he's got some work to do with 200 metres to go. But at present, it's Sera on the outside, Afri in second place, who's moving up on Sera's shoulder, and also Pham of Vietnam on the inside, the man who won silver at the Asian Para Games last year, and he's looking quite comfortable indeed. But here comes Mahdi Afri with 50 metres to go, just stretching those long legs out. Very tall athlete, and he's going to work his way across the line and take first place at a time of 48.94. Pham goes across in second, Sera in third, and in fourth place it is Edwin Masugi of Botswana. 48.94 is the time given to the reigning champion Mahdi Afri, who did that rather easily indeed in the closing 100 metres. Looked very calm, very cool, very relaxed indeed. Got out to a nice cruisy start, I suppose you could call it. Pham worked his way up on the inside, but when it came to the last 100 metres, you can see Afri there just comes off the bend, works his form, works his arms, his legs, and in the end wins it by about 5 or 6 metres from Pham of Vietnam. Will hope to go through as a fastest loser, if possible, after all 3 heats are done. Mahdi Afri likes peaking for major championships.
And the result of that semi-final that we've just seen now displayed on the scoreboard.
And doesn't the Moroccan look calm? So he wins it in a season best time of 48.94. Pham, a lifetime best for him, 49.92 in second place, followed by Sera and Edwin Masugi coming in last place.
Crowd's way up in Dubai compared to the last time we were in the Middle East 4 years ago, for those exquisitely organised championships in Doha. In the east of Dubai. A lot of the athletes staying very close by in this part of the city. It's a large hotel that normally when events are held here, there are early year Grand Prix events in many sports. Generally in the same week, the FASA Grand Prix, and the athletes all tend to stay in a huge hotel complex that's barely a 5-minute walk away. So semi-final 2 on the way in this men's 400 meters T12, medium visual impairment. Now we've got a couple of previous champions in this. It's the heat winner who qualifies for the final. And here's one of them, Luis Gonçalves of Portugal, world champion in 2011 and in 2015 for Morocco. This is Nabil Rahali Amari, who we saw last night in the long jump. He finished 5th in that. So this being the middle of the 3 visual impairment categories, guide optional in this. They're obviously mandatory in the 11s and not used at all in the 13s. Spain, Portugal, Morocco and South Africa are represented in this. Juan Muna Martinez of Spain, who's been the European champion. Luis Gonçalves, who's twice been the world champion, up against Nabil Rahali Amari. And Jacko Smit of South Africa. His first major championship at the age of 31. The man they call the Bullet, coached by Gary Postumus, is at the Eastern Cape Academy of Sport in Port Elizabeth. 50.96 his lifetime best set this year. First major championship. And for the first time in January, coming up, we have in Algiers the first ever African Para Games. Lane 5 for Morocco, Nabil Rahali Amari, 5th in the long jump here, 4th in the 400 meters in London, 5th in the 800. In lane 3 for Portugal, the world champion in Christchurch in 2011 and Doha in 2015, Luis Gonçalves, bronze in Rio at the Paralympic Games. He's the reigning European 200 meters champion. And in lane 1 for Spain, the former European 400 meters champion, silver in the 2, bronze in the 1 in London 2 years ago. Juan Muna Martinez with his guide, Sydney Ujakpour. So Muna Martinez in 1, Gonçalves in 3. Those are the 2 you would expect to feature the best in this. Rahali Amari in 5 and Smit in 7. Rahali Amari with thumping lifetime best this year of 49.18. Fastest this year of the 4, but this is championship stuff. This is where it counts. And it's only the winner of each semi-final plus the next fastest loser who go through. Those who are 3rd and 4th are out. So away the first time of asking. Solid start by Muna Martinez. Goncalves going well also in 3. That fast time by Rahali Amari early in the year is an interesting one. We'll see how he fares when it comes to championship action. But they're all paced quite well at the moment. They're more or less maintaining the distances that they had at the start. Rahali Amari going well. Goncalves also in 3. Jacko Smith on the outside. They all seem actually very well matched going into this semi-final. Now they straighten up. Rahali Amari, the 26-year-old, only his second major championship, and he's in the lead here. 5th in the long jump. Goncalves beginning to fight back. There's nothing for 3rd or 4th here. Goncalves is going to stay in. Muna Martinez will be eliminated. Rahali wins it. 50.08. Fastest of the field this year. Actually the fastest lifetime best also. He might have a big future on the way. He only finished 4th of the 4 in the 2017 final, but that was impressive. Muna Martinez is out. The man who won 2 medals in London at the last World Championships. He was 4th in the Paralympic Games final in Rio, but Muna Martinez is out. Rahali Amari, very good start. All 4 actually, to be fair, got off to a terrific start, but Rahali Amari kept it going all the way. Goncalves knew he was in a massive fight. Obviously they're T12, so they can't see too far in front or around of them. But Rahali Amari gets the victory. And Goncalves is going to have to wait. 50.61 for the Portuguese. And that is slower than Pham Nguyen of Vietnam, who was runner-up in the previous heat, which means that Luis Goncalves is out also and will not be progressing to the final. So Nabil Rahali Amari has taken out 2 former champions who will not be in the final. Rahali Amari is in the decider and the rest are all out.
So one more heat to go in that men's 400 metres T12, but we're back to the women's long jump T11 final. Currently it's Pavlenko of Ukraine who leads after the opening jump of rounds.
So it's Takada again for Japan, that lifetime best in the opening round of 4:65. And only one athlete has overtaken her since then, a lifetime best for Yulia Pavlenko of Ukraine with 4:75. Got that absolutely right. But with only pure faith about where you're landing, as we've already seen in this competition. Yeah, but the problem is that it's been called out, we can all hear it. That's the thing, it's very loud. So Takada's 4:65, 10 centimeters behind Pavlenko.
4.62.
So that's 3 centimeters shorter than what she did in the opening round. 4:62, as you've quite clearly heard, called out.
And Pavlenko, as we saw with the opening round, the leader there, she is lifetime best for her with her opener. 5 centimeter improvement. But Takada. So the final heat of the men's 400 metres T12.
Semi-final number 3 of the men's T12 400 metres.
Jose Luis Fernandez Teller, who took up parasport in 2013. He was 4th at the European Championships last year in Berlin. He was also 4th at this event in London 2 years ago. So, can he improve on that by 1 position at least to pick up a medal this time around?
In lane 5, ranks equal first in the world for Morocco.
Abdesalam Hilli, his first major championships for the 22-year-old, a lifetime best set this year of 48.98 seconds.
In lane 3, ranked 5 in the world for Turkey.
In lane 3, Özgür Akbulut. He's the gold medalist from the European Championships last year. Bronze in this, just ahead
And in lane 1,
of Fernandez Teller in London 2 years ago. And running from lane 1, another first-timer, 22-year-old Iko Saputra of Indonesia, and his first major championships. So 39.92 is the cut-off point. .49.42, the one to look out for. Özgür Akbulut will go off as favourite in this one, the European champion. First will automatically go through. And we're still needing confirmation on who will be the fastest qualifier to move into the final as they get themselves set. Madi Afri, who running the first, the championship record holder, he's already through. But there have been some shocks already, with the likes of Luis Goncalves already out. He went in heat number 2. So progression to the final can only come definitely from winning this heat. So although they like to hold something back, it's a case of needing to put plenty out there as well. Away they go, no issues whatsoever, and the man who we thought would be in a pretty good position, Akbulut, has got away with no issues, as has Hilli of Morocco on the outside, who's looking very strong indeed and being left way, way back. It's Saputra of Indonesia. He's out of the running already. It is a race in 3 at present. They haven't really made up much ground on each other, so it is out in front at the moment. Fernandez Teller, followed by Hilli, followed by Akbulut, who's making his move as they go round with 150 metres to go. Moving into the final 100 metres and looking very strong indeed is Abdesalam Hilli of Morocco, who rounds the first bend and is in the lead. Can Hilli hold on? But here comes Akbulut on the inside. Akbulut, it's Hilli in front. Akbulut's making an effort, but Hilli has got there, and Hilli looks like he's beaten off the man who won gold in the European Championships last year. It is Hilli of Morocco, his first major championships in a time of 48.96, who beats home Akbulut by just 5/100ths of a second. Fernandez Teller is coming in 3rd place. So Özgür Akbulut
And you can see he
has qualified and gone through with Abdesalam Hilli. Only 5/100ths of a second or so in it. But the man who picked up bronze 2 years ago in London, gold last year at the European Championships, has just qualified to go through. Didn't he look strong? Abdesalam Hilli looked very strong indeed, especially coming into that last 50 metres. Held his form, held his pace, held his position. And he goes through to the final in the men's 400 metres T12. Confirmation of that, a new lifetime best for him. Akbulut also a lifetime best for him, qualifying even though he finished in second position, 49.01. Banana Salah and Saputra, they miss out. So there is the confirmation of the final. Mahdi Afri in first place heading through. Hilly Akbulut and Rahali Amadi. Two Moroccans in to the final. Back to the women's long jump T11 final.
A leader in this, Yulia Pavlenko of Ukraine. 4 meters 75. And she's had the strongest tailwind so far of +1, and it's pretty much the strongest of the week. Chaki Takada of Japan in second, lifetime best 465. And Ayola Deadeye of Italy, who we see a lot of. Very successful on the European circuit, 460. She's gone up into third, and she's jumping again very soon. Victoria Carlson's just gone off to a 459 that puts her fourth. A no jump in the opening round for 5 athletes. One of those, Maritzel Playa Faust of Spain. Well, she nailed that. Barcelona-based, silver in the European Championships last year. This is her first global championship. She's had 2 Europeans, Grosseto 2016, but wasn't in Rio, and then 2018 last year in Berlin. From Barcelona, she's in law school at the moment. Coach Antonio Corgos. Great takeoff, exquisite landing. Super technique from Ciel Playa Faust. Also a sprinter, but didn't finish the 400 meters. 400 meters final last year in Berlin. Doing 4 meters 74, and she goes into second place. So Playa Faust into the silver medal position by 1 centimeter behind Pavlenko. Zhao now. Xiao Guha of China, who had a no jump in the opening round. $4.99 her lifetime best, which would make her a massive contender for gold here. She's gone out a decent distance. Last meter or so before takeoff, chalked up. That's the area in which to take off, because we're dealing with complete visual impairment, obviously. So she'd a no jump in the opening round. 4 meters 65 puts her up in the fourth. It's the same mark as Takada, but the Japanese also is a 462.
Deidage of Italy.
Ari Sinistra un pelo. Ancora un po'. Ok, ok. Vai, 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 sinistra. Vai, 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 vai.
Well, she found her way back onto the board eventually. At one point, she looked like she was heading in the completely wrong direction. The lady from Tirana, the 37-year-old. Born in Albania, moved to Italy at the age of 17. Reigning champion. .465, she jumped to win it back in London in 2017.
It's the first round heats of the women's T53 400 metres.
Found her way back onto the board. Went right, went left. Wonderfully done at the last moment. The question is, though, what has she jumped as we await confirmation?
Four, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7.
Currently in 5th position. 460, season best for her opener. .457, no improvement. So the reigning champion, Yola Dijas of Italy, remains in 5th position.
So the women's 400 metres T53. 6 going in this first round heat. It's effectively a semi-final, the first 3 progressing to the decider. The former world champion in this, Angie Ballard, on the inside in lane 4. The 100 metres champion from last night, Gao Fang of China. In her second world championships, Catherine de Brunner of Switzerland, a world silver medalist previously. So quality field as usual. 53s to 54s, always so thrilling. Esset Zeynep, who has won 4 medals at European level in her career. She's on the outside. 2 silver in Berlin, 2 bronze in Grosseto. But Gao Fang has already won the 100 metres here after 3 7th places in 2011. It's only her second World Championships after an 8-year gap. And Angie Ballard with the Doha golds in 200 and 400 4 years ago. 2 silvers in London and 6 last night in the 100 metres final. Was that just a blip? Ballard, Vrotten, Gao, De Brunner, Lefevre and Esset, top 3 to qualify for the final. And away, first time, as the T53s get underway in the one-lap event. It's a really good start by Kelsey Lefevre, the Pan Am Games silver and bronze medalist this year. Bronze in the 4, silver in the 1 in Lima. Good bit of movement from Gao Fang as well, and alongside her, Catherine de Brunner of Switzerland, who was out for 2 years, didn't compete in the last World Championships in London as she was concentrating on her studies. She's a qualified teacher now, out in front. Her and Gao teaching the rest of the lesson at the moment. They're well clear and looking good for a spot in the semi-final. Angie Ballard in 4, trying to fight back here. But De Brunner and Gao Fang are well in control. Vrotten well behind in 3rd at the moment. And Catherine de Brunner's going to take this for Switzerland. Impressive. Gao Fang in 2nd, 56 seconds. In 3rd, it's going to be Vrotten. Angie Ballard's 4th. So De Brunner gets the victory. 55.49 is a lifetime best for Catherine de Brunner. Oh, she's in great form after a couple of years out. Goes through along with Gao Fang, who's done quite a few last night with that big win in the 100 metres. But it is De Bruyne's victory here. Angie Ballard clocked just about 60 seconds. Should be okay in fourth, but that obviously depends on Heat 2 coming up. It was sixth spot for Ballard last night in the 100 meters final. A little bit unusually low by her high long-term standards, but Catherine De Bruyne is exacting standards of her own. Fourth in the 100 meters in her last World Championships 4 years ago in Doha. 55.49 her lifetime best. And that's a very good morning's work for the Swiss. Broughton will go through with them from the Canadian team. Had that massive crash in the Commonwealth Games 1500 metres that had her out for a few months as a result. Missed the rest of the games in Gold Coast. De Bruyne through along with Gao Fang and Jessica Broughton. Angie Ballard will have to wait.
Meanwhile, back at the women's T11 long jump is the lady who is currently in last position, Lorena Salvatini Splodorde. A foul, and 2.70, and then this one here. Out in front at the moment, it is Yulia Pavlenko of Ukraine, a lifetime best with her opening jump, 4.75 for her. Well, we jumped way back from the board there, as you saw. There is Salvatini Splodore, 3.32, so an improvement for her, but she still remains in last position. So Pavlenko leads. Player Faust of Spain in second, and Takada of Japan currently in third position. Women's 400 metres T53, the second of the two heats to take place. As in the first one, first three to go through automatically. The next two fastest will qualify for the final. And the reigning champion in the Paralympics and the World Championships, Zhao Hongjian, will go from lane 7 in this one. Jessica Cooper-Lewis, who was in the 100 metres final last night. She won gold at the Pan American Games in Lima this year in this event. There is Zhao, current Paralympic and world champion, who goes from lane 6. Chelsea McClammer will go from lane 5, the 2016 silver medalist in Rio and also in London 2 years ago. And Diana Dupont, also in the 100 metres final last night. She's been around since 2006, so loads of experience for the Canadian. Dupont was 8th in this event in London 2 years ago. First three to go through automatically. .104.55 is the time to beat to get through. If you don't finish in those top 3 positions, a tough ask indeed.
On your mark.
Chelsea McClammer, 800 and 5,000 metres bronze 2 years ago in London. Silver in this event. Dupont will start from the nearest lane inside the Canadian. 5 to go. Only 3 definites to go through though. No problems at all getting away. And it is the reigning champion Zhao Hongzhuan, who already is up on the wheel of Jessica Cooper-Lewis on the outside from Bermuda. And she's just about to go past her after around 150 metres in that back straight. So it is Zhao who's taken the lead, also coming up well on the inside. It's Hamid Dongagun of Turkey. So Zhao leads with 150 metres to go. It is Dongagun of Turkey who's moved up in his second position. So they look assured at the moment as we come into the final 100 metres of picking up those 2 positions to go through. It's just a question now of who is going to pick up that 3rd position. Currently it looks like Chelsea McClammer who's going to come through, but in the lead and going across the line, it's Zhao, followed by Dongagun, and it is Chelsea McClammer of the USA who goes across and automatically takes that 3rd qualification position. .57.7 for second place, but Zhao in 56.90 going through. It is 57.57 it's been given for the Turkish athlete, and McClammer in 3rd going through automatically. 56.90 for the lady who holds the championship record, Zhao Hongzhuan, and is the reigning champion. Disappointing from Alana Dupont, coming through in 5th position. She'd have hoped for better than that, having made the final 2 years ago. Not her day. Perhaps the 100 metre final last night took something out of it. Didn't take anything out of this lady, what we've seen so far. Zhao Hongzhuan, who took silver in the 100 metres last night, the 30-year-old. This here an event she really enjoys though. Last 2 major championships, he's picked up gold in it. So Zhao wins, followed by Dongagun, McClammer in 3rd, and Jessica Cooper-Lewis of Bermuda has gone through as a qualifier.
Club throw results now on the scoreboard. Wally Ferhar leading with a personal best 33.54. In the circle at the moment is Tizidis of Greece, 4th thrower out of 8.
So here we are, the 2 qualifiers to go through. Bruna, Fang, Zhao, etc. They are through to the final.
We're into round 3 of the women's long jump T11 final, complete visual impairment. Yulia Pavlenko of Ukraine still leads, 475, a centimetre ahead of Spain's Maricel Playa-Faus, with Chiaki Takada of Japan in 3rd, 10 centimetres back. Zhao Gua of China with the same mark of 465, but out of the medals and count back for now. Victoria Karlsson of Sweden currently lying in 6th spot, 457, 459. Looks to be around the same mark, but obviously there are 2 measuring points there, so we'll see. Karlsson, European champion 3 times in a row. She may have helped herself to something decent there. She only needs an extra 7 centimetres from a 2nd round mark in order to go into the medals here. 7th in the Paralympic Games, bronze in Doha, 4th in her other 2 World Championships. Well, good potential for her to do something big again here. She's only 16 centimeters off the gold medal marker, Pavlenko, at the moment. She's kept a consistency, 4:57, but she stays in 6th. Sweden, always a great athletics host. Gothenburg with the indoor and outdoor European Championships on the IAAF circuit in the last 13 years, and been a World Championship host as well in '95. We haven't been in Sweden yet for a World Para Athletics event. Currently lying in 2nd place, Maritel Playafaus of Spain with a 4:74 in round 2, only a centimetre off the lead of Pavlenko. Silver in the Europeans last year. Her first global championship, curiously. It's a red flag. She went beyond the plasticine, unfortunately, and she felt she had a big jump in her, and that was it. And it's a big pity, because she pulled off a tremendous effort there, but had just taken off too far. And you can see there's quite a bit of displeasure from her. Just over, and landed around 5.5 meters. She ploughed through the plasticine. Would have been an excellent jump had it been measured. Potential of doing something very big here for Spain, but that's 2 no jumps. 4:74 has her in 2nd, and just as well she got that 4:74, because if she'd missed that, then she would now be eliminated.
Well, here's Xiao. Guha currently in 4th position. Season best for her. Asian Para Games champion. No issues with the takeoff, that's fine. 1 gold in the T11 to 13 4x100 relay in Rio 3 years ago. So no problem with pace getting to the board. Often acts as the interpreter for her teammates when abroad speaking English. First time in a major world championship, she's competed in the long jump after winning her Asian Para Games gold medal last year. Normally in the 1 and 200s, sometimes the 4 as well. Well, 4.92, so she's improved by a fair distance indeed. Into the lead she goes, 4.92. Pavlenko of Ukraine now down to 2nd, Playafaus of Spain into the bronze medal position. Here's Didaj of Italy in 5th position. Season best of 4.60, her 3rd attempt.
That's a red flag. Just straight out, Ariola Deadeye.
That's twice as well that she's gone out and had to come back in, so clearly a bit of an issue there with where she's starting.
The world champion from London 2 years ago, down in 5th right now. Wind is swirling round a bit. That was into quite a significant headwind of minus 1.1. But we are getting tailwinds behind them, helping the jump for the first time this week. Just straight a little bit to the right, did Deadeye. Another half of Manuele Di Marino we've seen on the track in the men's competitions. She's the Italian Paradance champion from a few years back and missed last year's Europeans. Son Leonardo born around that time. Shatili of Namibia. It's lying in 7th spot, so she will make it into the second half of the competition. The 4:33 gets a white flag for this. 4:33 in the second round. A lifetime best. We've had 3 of those so far. Pavlenko, Takada and Ishatile. We're going to lose Janjira Pantayib, who ended up landing alongside the runway and not in the sand. Now, thankfully, she has had a couple of jumps since then, but hasn't got beyond 4 meters, so she's 9th. And Lorena Salvatini, Spoladori Brazil, former world champion, is out. 10th and last, 3:32. So Ishatile of Namibia, has she improved on a lifetime best? She has indeed. 4 meters 44 keeps her in 7th.
Well, the bronze medalist from 2014, Ishatile, is still in the hunt. Pavlenko has now dropped down to 2nd position after Zhao's previous jump put her ahead of her by 17 centimeters. So it is Pavlenko to try and get herself back into that gold medal position.
Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, ровно, хорошо.
Well, that looks all right. Previously competed in the T13 of the least visually impaired back in 2013 in Lyon. She came with a bronze medal out of that, and she was 4th in 2015 in the T12. So her vision clearly has got worse over the years, hence her being in the T11 section this time. Won bronze at the 2007 International Blind Sports Federation World Championships in Brazil. To add to that bronze he picked up in 2013 in Lyon in the T13 long jump. So no improvement there, 4.60. She remains in 2nd position, does Pavlenko. So there's confirmation of what we have at the moment. Zhao leads the way with a season best in 4:92. Pavlenko with a lifetime best 4:75. And Player Faust also with a season best 1 centimetre further back in the bronze medal position. But Salvatini Splodore is out.
So the top 8 in that long jump, the cut will be made after Miraziyeva of Uzbekistan. So she will be the athlete that makes it through.
Also in action this morning, we've got the men's club throw F32. Second most restricted of the coordination impairment events. And it is a sitting one. So Lahori Balaz of Algeria taking the lead with that throw, 33.89, ahead of her compatriot Walid Farah with 33.54 lifetime best, and all 6 throws at once. So once you've had your efforts, that's it. Walid Farah doesn't have a right of reply. Balaz has knocked her off the top to take the lead. It's Algeria 1 and 2, and they could do a clean sweep as Ahmed Medibeb is on later.
برمية 33 متر 89 ويستعد للمحاولة الثانية.
Balaz is the reigning world champion. She's taken it 3 times. Runner-up in 2015, but victor in 11, 13 and 17.
Here. So Balaz is on the giant screen.
There might have been an added S in that sentence.
Rest, rest.
Well, 33.89. Balaz, he's got himself well out in front.
Let's watch the replay of that third throw by Balaz as we await the measurements.
He's also a decent shot putter, as a lot of these are. He is the reigning club and shot put champion.
No improvement, but a great sequence. He's got 3 more throws.
And he's coached by Kada Mohamed Kratchai. In his Paralympic Games career, he has claimed a silver and 2 bronzes, has Luhari Balaz.
Here.
Six world titles to his name. 3 of them in this. "2015 in Doha was a bit of a low year for him as he won silver in the club. He was 5th in the shot. 33.89 remains his best so far. 31.79, that one was Algeria 1-2 at the moment. He's the one expected to be top of the pile. World record holder from the European Championships in 2016. Maciej Sojal is 3rd right now for Poland and won't be coming back, obviously. It's 1 visit and that's it. Must have been an injury in Rio for him as he finished the silver medal in the shot, which is his best result in the Paralympic Games. Didn't get to start the club throw. Penultimate attempt. He's got a lot of height in that. It's right by the big screen in this stadium. Still got some good distance in that. And that was 32 meters and 10. 33.89 remains his best. As you can see, quite early in Dubai, but still a nice crowd here.
Okay.
Lovely shot that from up high. No issues at all where she took off from the board. So Isha Chile, has she improved? No, she hasn't. So her 3rd jump, still her best. That being a lifetime best. So Carlson of Sweden, the 22-year-old from Söderhamn.
Long jump live on the giant screen, where it's around 4 out of
Got involved in the sport
2 of China leading.
so she could burn off some energy.
Carlson on the runway for Sweden, who's in 6th.
Hasn't done too bad at it since. Gold winner at the 2014 European Championships in Swansea, setting a Swedish record in the process. Also European champion in 2016 and 2018. 4th in this event, just missing out in the medal 2 years ago in London. Well, she seemed to take off quite a distance back then, but that's where the measurement will be taken from. There you can see there, quite some distance back. The lady whose ambition it is to win a medal next year at the Tokyo Paralympics. It's been quite an 18 months or so. She was the flag bearer as well for Sweden last year in Berlin at those 2018 European Championships. Where she won gold. Triple European champion, 4th last time in London, doesn't improve, so she remains in 6th position despite a season best of 4:59 with her second jump. Weather warming up, started off today at 28 degrees. Hats are a must. So Didai of Italy, currently in 5th position. This 4th attempt. She's some work to do. Does the reigning champion. She's gone right again. Well, that's the 3rd time in a row that we've seen it where she's gone way off to the right and had to then bring herself back in towards the board. Her last jump when she did that was a foul. You can see there she goes way off to the right and brings herself back in. Did well in the end to get back to the board. White flag given.
450. 450.
So 450 on the dot. No improvement on her opener. She remains in 5th position. She's only got 2 jumps left. Does the reigning world champion. Takada of Japan is next up. She's 4th. 9 centimetres behind Spain's Playa Fals.
Hey, 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 hey.
Second 2 years ago, picked up an injury back in 2015, so no result there. Silver medalist looking to improve this year to a gold. No problems at all. With the takeoff. White flag given.
Well in focus is Takada.
In front of the camera.
Won silver at the Asian Para Games last year. To go with that silver from London the year before that. No doubt looking forward to her home Paralympics next year. In Rio, disappointing, she finished in 8th position. In 4th position at present. As she looks to work her way up into the medals. She doesn't improve though, so she remains in 4th position despite a lifetime best of 4.65 with her opening jump of 4. Good crowds again here in Dubai. Some wonderful individual performances across numerous field and track events. As the lady in 3rd position, Playa Fals, the law student from Barcelona.
Ahí, perfecta, va. Ahí. Ve. 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 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, ja!
Well, that's fine. No issues there for the 21-year-old. White flag given.
També ara una miqueta, ens hem quedat una miqueta endarrerida, però bueno, avancem. He tocat la taula? Sí, has tocat la taula. Vinga, avancem.
Silver medalist last year in the European Championships. Currently in the bronze medal position in the World Championships.
473. 473.
Bit of a hitch kick through the air.
473 for Playa Fals of Spain. On the runway now.
Good landing. 473, so 1 centimetre shy of her best so far. 2 fouls, 2 legals. She's in the bronze medal position still.
Yulia Pavlenko, our leader for the first 2 rounds, 475. She went out to the lifetime best. Very impressive effort from her. Born in Artemivsk, lives in Bakhmut, never left. It's the same city. It was the former name in the old days. 475, 472 for Pavlenko so far. Seems around the same mark. Bronze in the 2013 World Championships in Lyon. That's her only major championship medal so far. Great technique from Pavlenko.
475.
So in the first round, she went out to 475, her new lifetime best. And she's matched it. 2 lifetime bests in the one morning, but needs another 18 centimeters to take the lead. Being held by Zhu Guha of China. We've already seen Zhou Peng win the men's long jump gold last night. 492 in the 3rd round to take the lead, and that into a slight headwind. Asian Games champion helped the 4x100 meter squad to gold in Rio, and the 100 meters champion in 2012. Guide, second guide got it away right in time. So has that improved in the 492 from the opening round? Has she increased the lead of 17 centimetres? Two guides, always useful.
Back on the track, it's time for heat one of the men's 400 metres T37.
484. 484.
Well, Zhu with the 492 in round 3. That good enough for the lead, and so this would have been, but it's no improvement. 484. Zhou remains in the gold medal position. It's T37, men's 400 metres time. Coordination impairment, the second strongest branch of same. Included in this, the reigning European champion Michał Kukowski of Poland. The aforementioned Zhou Peng, long jump champion from last night. Would be a useful double for him. Renaud Claire of France, bronze in the 400 metres of the Europeans last year in Berlin. Ali Al-Nakli, bronze in the 100 metres in the Asian Games last year for Saudi Arabia. In 7 for Ukraine, silver in the 4, bronze in the 2 in Berlin at the Europeans last year. Yaroslav Okapinski, the former European and world champion, Andrei Vdovin of Russia. He's in 6. In 5, the new world long jump champion in this category, Zhou Peng for China. In 4 for Poland, the 200 and 400 European champion from Berlin, Michał Kukowski. And in lane 3, first major championship for the man they call Honza, Jan Mostek. Vdovin was such a dominant athlete. 3 golds in the 2014 Europeans in Swansea, 2 gold and a silver, dethroned in the 200 in Grosseto 2 years later. And gold in the 1, the 2 and the 4 in his last World Championships, his last Global Championships in 2015 across the Gulf in Doha. Top 3 to go through automatically to the final, plus the next 2 fastest losers. Mostek, Kukowski, Zhou, Vdovin, Okapinski, Al-Nakli and Claire. Away at the first time of asking. This field of 7, and what a start by Vdovin. He's been competing domestically in Russia for the past 3 years, as they all have been. And he's already overtaken Okapinski on the outside, and there's a pull up there, and I think it's Al-Nakli of Saudi Arabia who's gone. Vdovin not worried about that. He's well out in front right now. Ahead of Okapinski of Ukraine in 2nd. Claire of France on the outside in lane 9 looks to be 3rd. But the stagger will eat him up. Koskovski's making a good move on the inside. Vdovin leaving with Okapinski in 2nd place. Now here comes Kukowski as they straighten up. The Pole, the reigning European champion, in 2nd spot, and the former European champion way out in front. Vdovin leaving, Koskovski in 2nd place, and Okapinski in 3rd. And they go through in that order. 52.78, the unofficial winning time. But once the stagger had been dealt with, Kukowski well in the frame. 52.29. That's a massive rounding down. Clock stopped late. But Vdovin taking it in good style. 52.29, back on the global stage, and in some fine style as well. His successor, Michał Kukowski, trailing in behind him. But obviously, in this semi-finalist, top 3, that's all you need. It's very unfortunate pull-up by Ali Al-Nakli quite early on. The Saudi Arabian, the 19-year-old who won bronze in the Asian Games last year in Jakarta. Really impressive start by Vdovin. But just look actually at Al-Nakli go. And then he did go completely. That's a hamstring. Nasty one. It's unfortunate for him because he started really well. However, his lifetime best is 56.5 seconds. He started better than Verdovin, who won this in 52, and who's a 50.5 man in his career, the world record holder. Championship record as well when he was last in this in Doha 4 years back. He's taken it quite comfortably, 52.29. Okapinski had started actually quite well alongside him, but had been overtaken by Verdovin there. Ukraine wear a whole variety of different singlets, and that yellow and black. But he's through. Verdovin, Kukovski, Okapinski all into the final. And Zhou, the long jump champion, fourth, will have to wait.
So it's still happening in the women's long jump T11 final. When last we left you, it was Zhou Guo of China who was leading. Victoria Karlsson, the Swede, with her fifth attempt.
Of Sweden on the runway. She's in sixth place. This is her fifth round jump out of six.
تسعد اللعبة السويدية المحاولة الخامسة في الوثبة الطويل سيدات فئة T 11.
Season best for Karlsson with her second of 4:59.
Lite höger. Ja. Ja, kom igen nu.
Straight as a die on the run up. There are problems with the takeoff, white flag given. Karlsson, if nothing, has been consistent. No issue with the jump, as you saw there. Very, very straight in that run up. The lady who trains up to 3 hours a day, 5 days of the week. She's also competed in the discipline of para cross country skiing at international level, so endurance is no issue for Victoria Karlsson.
446. 746.
But I don't think she's improved on one of her earlier marks. No, she hasn't. 446, so 459 still her best. She's in sixth position at present. So the second heat in the men's 400 metres T37. Andre Verdovin, who we saw winning the last heat, is the championship and world record holder in this event. 6 to go in this one, including the man who's the Paralympic champion and the reigning world champion, Charles de Toit of South Africa. Liam Stanley, the former Canadian Para Footballer of the Year in 2013 and 2014. He won silver in London 2 years ago in the 1500 metres. Valentin Bertrand, we've already seen him in the long jump here yesterday, for the man who's studying a master's degree in marketing. Second of the Russians in this event, Chermen Kobasov, gold medalist in Lyon back in 2013. Didn't finish in 2015. And clearly not around in 2017 when Russia was serving that ban from para-sport. The Algerian Safin Hamdi also competed in para-judo. Bronze in the Paralympics in this event. And there he is, the man who's the reigning world champion and Paralympic champion. Charles du Toit of South Africa also won gold in the 200 metres in 2017 in London as well. And Vitor Antonio de Jesus, the 2019 Parapan American gold in both the 200 and the 400. He's the America's record holder, will go from lane 4.
On your mark.
So favourite in this one will be the man in lane 5, the South African Charles du Toit. First 3 to move into the final. Next 2 fastest from this and the previous heat will go through as well. Also look out for Kurbasov, who'll go from lane 7, the 2013 champion. A packed field. And away they get at the first time of asking. We've seen no false starts in these championships, in the men's section at least, and they're away with no problems at all. And it is Kurbasov who's moved out very quickly indeed, and coming up on the inside. Currently second from the back, but looking very solid indeed is Charles du Toit as they come around to the 200 metre mark. But working his way up very well indeed is De Jesus, the man who won the 2019 Parapan gold in both this and the 200 metres. He's looking very solid indeed, and if anything, Du Toit is maybe struggling a little bit going around. It is De Jesus who leads coming into the straight. It is Kurbasov in second place, and Du Toit, can he hold on to take third position? He's just slowing up somewhat. Kurbasov has taken the lead. He's going to cross in first position. De Jesus of Brazil goes across second, and it is the reigning champion Charles du Toit who goes across in third. The winning time there of 48.81. Well, it's been moved up to 51.89 seconds for Kurbasov of Russian. 52.85 for De Jesus in second place. And Charles du Toit coming through to take the third definitive qualifying position in 53.54 seconds. So Kurbasov, De Jesus and Du Toit go through to the final. Well, Kurbasov, he was the 2013 champion in Lyon. He didn't finish in 2015 in Doha, but he finished this ever so strongly as he rounded the final bend with around 150 to go. His form was good. He did it easily, and with 100 to go, he just pushed on. Got out to a lead of around 6 or 7 metres. Eased up, as did De Jesus, and Du Toit comes across to take third place. But look at that from the former world champion, Sherman Kurbasov. Some final it's going to be between him and the man who holds the championship and world record, his compatriot Andrei Bedurban, with Russia back in the international fold after a 3-year absence. Looks cool, doesn't he? Looks calm. He's into the final. Kurbasov goes through in a season best, 51.89. De Jesus and Du Toit also going through. Liam Stanley with a lifetime best of 54.18. The Canadian, he qualifies as a fastest loser.
By the champion, Apostolos Charitonidis of Greece. He takes the title.
So quite some feel for the final. The two Russians at the top, Kurbasov, and the world and championship record holder, Andrei Bedurban.
تظهر على الشاشة النتائج الأولية بعد 6 محاولات في دفع الجلة رجال فئة F37. المراكز الأولى لحد الآن لليوناني يليه الروسي ثم التونسي.
So it's the final throw just being measured at 17.34 for Stefanidis of Greece in the qualification of the men's javelin. It means that the 4 who will contest the final are Absalom of Egypt, Mani of Finland.
Marvellous crowds all week so far in Dubai.
With a South American record will be the 4th finalist
We're going to go across to the men's F37 shot put, standing coordination impairment. The second strongest, or if you like, the second least restricted of the 4 standing coordination impairment categories. We're watching Apostolos Karnidis. 15:43 lifetime best for him to take the lead. That's a solid effort again for the European champion. Has definitely made himself a man to beat here, but will he be beaten by anybody? Was bronze in the discus last year in Berlin. 15 meters dead, and he has a lot to celebrate. Apostolos Karnidis. That's victory. Albert Kingatov of Russia with the silver. A margin of 18 centimeters, a lifetime best for the top 3. Karnidis wins it, 15:43. Kingatov the silver for Russia, 15:25, another lifetime best. And Ben Mosler with an African area record for Tunisia, 14 meters 40. National record too in a PB. And actually lifetime best for 5 of the top 6. An Oceania record for New Zealand's Ben Tumasevi. Lifetime best for Ahmed Fauzi of Indonesia in 14. So great performances across the board. The top action continues. It's the final of the women's 200 meters, T64. The single below knee amputee category, one of the new ones introduced in the past 18 months. And what a field we have in this. Obviously these athletes were in the 40s previously, before things were shaken up. European champion Marlene van Ganswinkel in the Netherlands. World champion in the 400, Imgard Ben Suzanne of Germany. The Pan Am champion in Lima a few weeks ago, Sydney Barth of the United States. And Yoshia Kane Claxton, who took the 100 meters there. It's a quality field. The first T64 final in history. Sydney Barter, her first global championship from Arlington, Virginia. 200 meters Pan Am champion in Lima, and bronze in the discus. That's a combination. 28:09, a lifetime best set this year, which is actually quite good. It's not very far off. She's, by the way, 15 years old. Never mind the great future she's got, the present isn't bad. Anna Stephen, 19 years old, her first major championship from North Harbour Bay's Athletic Club. First major championship in lane 7 for Kimberly Alkemade of the Netherlands. 27:29, a lifetime best from this year, coached by Arno Mull. She's a personal training company, moving for growth. In lane 6 for the United States, from Stanton, Massachusetts, born in Boston, Famita Ayanbeku. Fifth in the 200 meters in the last World Championships. Here is the reigning European champion over 100 and 200, and silver in the long jump to boot. For the Netherlands, Marlene van Ganswinkel. In lane 4 for Germany, the world record holder and the 400 meters world champion in London 2 years ago, Imgard Ben Suzanne. In lane 3 for the United States, the Pan Am silver medalist in the 100 and 200, Beatrice Atz. In lane 2 for Trinidad and Tobago, the Pan Am champion in the 100 meters and bronze in the 100 meters in the last 3 global championships, Noishia, Kane, Claxton. And in lane 1 for Germany, made a major championship debut last year, 4th in the long jump, 5th in the 200 meters, Maria Tietze of Bayer Leverkusen. Quite a story for her. She had an accident in 2015, motorbike accident, lost a bit of a leg, knew nothing about para-athletics until David Bearer was giving a lecture. She heard it and thought, I could do this, and she can. She's very good at it. Tietze 1, Ken Claxton 2, Hatz 3, Ben Suzanne 4, Van Ganswinkel 5, Ian Beku 6, Al-Kamade 7, Stephen 8, Barton 9. The final of the women's 200 meters, T64. Away first time, solid start by Van Ganswinkel and Ian Beku of the United States in 6, and Ben Suzanne, so successful in the last Paralympic Games in Rio where she won 3 silver medals. It's Ben Suzanne in 4, is Van Ganswinkel in 5. Also moving up, Al-Kamade of the Netherlands, but it's going to be Ben Suzanne out in front. Al-Kamade going brilliantly, and she might nick it on the line right at the end. Al-Kamade moving up with Ben Suzanne, who I think has just got in the German, but what a major championship debut for Al-Kamade from the Netherlands. Her compatriot Van Ganswinkel in 3rd. But Irmgard Ben Suzanne looked to have just grabbed that on the line. Al-Kamade could have sensationally grabbed that on a major championship debut. But Irmgard Ben Suzanne, a championship record, 26.93, breaking her own mark, and she won it by 0.05 of a second ahead of Kimberly Al-Kamade. Van Ganswinkel, the bronze. But Irmgard Ben Suzanne, world champion in the 400 in London, takes the 200 in Dubai, and how she had to fight for that. What a race, what a performance. The Dutch have found another gem, there's no doubt about that, in Kimberly Al-Kamade. Well, the orange singlet of Van Ganswinkel being up in the front, not a surprise. And then suddenly, when the stagger straightens up, Kimberly Al-Kamade had done brilliantly. She did have a lifetime best of 27.29 coming into this. She smashed that as Ben Suzanne broke her own championship record. How hard she had to fight. A lot coming out vocally on the line. It was enough to get it. Van Ganswinkel, she might have thought she was a bit closer. Exhaling, approaching the line and absolutely screaming past it. What a great victory for Irmgard Ben Suzanne, and really great because it was a double Dutch challenge coming up on her. Quite a few major championship debutants in that. And they're looking good. Irmgard Ben Suzanne takes her first world 200 meters title, a second overall championship record, 26.93. Kimberly Al-Kamade gets the silver, and Van Ganswinkel disqualified. Mita Ian Beku, the United States, gets the bronze. Stephen with an Oceania record for New Zealand. It's rule 18.5, we'll look that up for you. But Dutch silver and not Dutch bronze. As we go back to the long jump.
Heading towards the business end right now in the women's long jump T11. Complete visual impairment. If you haven't been with us already this morning,
Ja,
so Victoria Carlson,
lite höger. Ja, ja, kom igen nu.
well, I mentioned it a little bit earlier that Carlson has been consistent in what she's done. In 6th position, 4:59, her best to date, which was her second jump. That a season best.
465. 465.
But she needs something big to get up into the medal positions. Player Faust currently in the bronze medal position. And that isn't good enough. It lifts at a fifth, 465, a new season best for her. But she doesn't make it into the medal positions.
So that women's 200 metres T64, the disqualification for Marlijn van Ganswinkel in the bronze medal position was for lane infringement, rule 18.5. And the Dutch obviously will appeal that. So Ayola Deadeye of Italy, 460 in round one. How well she's performed for Italy down through the years. The defending world champion needs an extra 33 centimetres. She's beginning to stray a bit. She straightened up and I think lost a bit of distance in that. Currently lying in sixth spot. Brilliant victory for her in London, having finished seventh in the previous World Championships in Doha. And maybe there's something about the Middle East that doesn't sit well with her because she's sixth now.
Crucial jumps in this final round to determine the title and the medals in the long jump.
Well, she did go straight on the board this time after the last few when she skipped out to the right and had to work her way back to the left. Consolation there for Magai because that has not improved. She's in sixth position, the reigning champion.
She's only 5 centimetres short of the gold medal winning distance from London, but that today not enough for a medal.
Well, Chiaki Takada could get enough for a medal. She's in fourth position.
When she won silver in London, it was with a lifetime best of 449. She's got out to 465 today in the opening round. 475 needed for a medal. That might not be it. Good consistency with her attempts. All four that have been legal, there was a no jump in round three, have been better than a silver medal winning performance in London. It shows how much the sport has come on across the board. Because we obviously focus on world records a lot, but world records, if you like, are anomalies. It's the only time that distance has ever been covered, which in the case of Silvania Costa d'Oliveira, 5:46. So 465 her lifetime best from round one. How close, I wonder, has she come this time?
Takada of Japan.
Well, we're going to find out now.
That's her best jump of the competition.
469 a lifetime best. It's fourth, but she misses out on a medal by 6 centimetres. She's 5 off bronze, but needed to improve that by a centimetre to take it on count back. So the medalists are determined, but in what order? Meritxell Playa Faust, a bronze for her at the very least in her first Global Championships. Silver in the Europeans last year in Berlin. 474 in round two. She had a massive attempt in round three, but fouled. 473 in round four. That's the target. Pavlenko's had 2 475s, so she needs 476 for silver. 493 needed for gold. Ooh, she's okay. She didn't cross the plane or anything like that. She's far away from the plane.
Well, we'll come back to Playa Faust, who's in third position in the T11 long jump in the women's. But it's down to the track now, the men's 400 metres T53, the first of 2 heats taking place in this one. First 3 will qualify, and the man to look out for here is surely the Canadian Brent Lakatos, who defended his 100 metres T53 gold medal last evening. He's the 1, the 2, the 4 and the 800 metres world champion, the man who goes in lane 4. Also aiming for the marathon in Tokyo next year. There is Brian Seaman of the United States, also in the final last night. Inside him, Pierre Fairbank and Fernandez de Silva. Krunget of Thailand will go from lane 5. And Brent Lakatos, there he is, the man who lives in Loughborough in England, married to Great Britain's Stephanie Reid. In the opening heat of the T53 400, and Arce of Thailand will go from lane 3, the 21-year-old, his first major championships. That's the man to look out for. Already won 100 metres gold. As he goes for the quadruple again, perhaps.
On your marks.
So first 3 automatically qualify. As the sun starts to take real effect here in Dubai. 28 degrees this morning. It's warmed up somewhat. Another few degrees on top of that now. We're into the mid-30s perhaps later in the day. Away they get, no problems at all. Lakatos gets away smartly from his lane, which is lane 4. No problems with him, already moving up there, as is the man who's on his outside, Pishe Krunget of Thailand. So Krunget is doing well. He's already moved into 3rd position. Lakatos there is also coming up alongside with 250 metres to go in this opening heat in the men's 400 metres T53. So Lakatos there looking strong, going around with 200 metres to go, expecting to put a bit of speed on to get himself into the top 3. It is the first 3 who automatically qualify to go through to the final. Brian Seaman of the USA, who was in the 100 metres final last night, is also up there. He's in 1st position and moving through really strong is Pierre Fairbank as well. So it's Fairbank, Lakatos, and it is Brian Seaman who takes 3rd position in the end, out in lane 8. So Lakatos qualifies comfortably despite finishing in 2nd position. And Pierre Fairbank, who made his senior debut back in 1998 and silver way back in Sydney 2000, takes the opening heat. He was a bronze medalist in 2017 in London. Was that man, Pierre Fairbank. A season best for him of 49.28 seconds for the Frenchman. Well, they all got away with no issues around that opening bend and stretched the arms out down the back straight. That was Pierre Fairbank with Brian Seaman just slipping back somewhat as Lakatos came through to take 2nd position. All 3 comfortably through to the final. The rest, watch on.
And that's confirmation of the results.
So Pierre Fairbank,
So those are the 3 automatic
the Frenchman,
qualifiers.
with a season best qualifies first, as does Lakatos slightly behind, and a season best for Brian Seaman in the 3rd automatic qualification position. Lifetime best for Arce of Thailand in 5th place.
"25 gold medals decided today, 5 this morning. We've already seen a few already. Imgard Ben Suzan with that thumping victory in the 200 metres final, and some more medals to be decided in the next few moments, definitively in the women's long jump T11.
Going fishing. Oh, that would be nice in this weather.
It's actually a bit more pleasant now that the sun's in. It hasn't really come out today. It's quite cloudy. That is perfectly welcome here. It's still about 27, 28 Celsius.
And that scoreboard confirming the final results of that T11 women's long jump.
So Meritxell Playa Faust of Spain, we saw her last attempt, that was 4.67. So now, Pavlenko, 4.75 her best, that was a lifetime best, and that's a really great effort. Now her target is 4.93 for the gold, and that's not very far away from Pavlenko. The former world bronze medalist, this is silver at least. Was that good enough for gold? She's just missed out. 4.87, another lifetime best, her third of the day. But Zhou Guoha of China gets the gold. The Asian Para Games long jump champion of 2018. Her only previous long jump medal, and that's another good one actually from Zhou. It's beyond 4.5. 4.92 in the third round, and that's 4.61. Zhou Guoha of China is the world champion. Zhou Guoha takes it 4.92. All those lifetime bests for Pavlenko of Ukraine gets her best global result as silver. And Meritxell Playa Faust in her first global championship gets the bronze, 4.74. The silver medalist from London 2 years ago, Chiaki Takada, is in fourth with a lifetime best. The outgoing world champion, Deadeye, was in sixth. Now we need a few of those today.
Difficult to hold and do the job at the same time, though.
Willing to give it a try.
Nothing a bit of gaffer tape and a beach umbrella can't fix.
I know one of our colleagues from radio were looking for a big one yesterday and could only find a small one in the shops here. But it's coming to good use for it. Now see, that is a nice, sensible sized hat.
Like I saw you buy one yesterday.
And I will not hear anyone say otherwise.
Yours look like a lampshade on your head, though.
And the thing is, when we get home, we'll never need it, except probably just a shield from the rain.
Well, luckily I grew up in the sun, so I know about it. You didn't. You're the man. You're the man who forgets to bring a hat to most major events when it's sunny.
I was actually born in a heat wave.
At least this time you bought sun cream.
Yes, that's true.
Kudos to you.
That makes a change.
That is how you wear your sunglasses when you don't need them. The inverted look.
At least you won't forget they're on your head.
Another sensible hat in front there. Maybe you could get one of those as well, Will.
That's my colour. Don't forget, European Championships are moving to Poland next year at the start of the European summer. Bydgoszcz, which has held the European under-23s on the IAAF circuit, a couple of World Juniors, and this year's European Team Championships, which is a brilliant event. And then after Bydgoszcz, it is obviously Tokyo for the Paralympic Games. Countdown is well on.
Throwing at 5, the world record holder for New Zealand, Lisa Adams. Throwing at 6, representing Russia.
It's a cloudy, misty kind of day in Dubai, but if it brings the temperature down a little bit, that is not unwelcome.
Republic of China. Lee, Ying Lee. And throwing at 8 for Czech Republic. Ava Datinska. your lineup for the women's shot put T37 final.
And the crowds here have been absolutely tremendous. There was a fear, returning to the Middle East, that it might be greeted with the low crowds that we did have in Doha 4 years ago. And obviously headlines along the same tack for the IAAFs 5-6 weeks ago, but the crowds here have been way up on the last major Middle East event, and that's really, really great to see. Second heat of the men's 400 metres T53. We've already seen the defending champion Brent Lakatos go through with Pierre Fairbank, but there's a lot of quality here as well, including the silver medalist from the 100 metres, and the reigning Paralympic champion goes in this as well. Ponsakorn Payo of Thailand in lane 7, the reigning Asian Games and Paralympic champion. Almost everybody in this field with major championship medals to their name, bar a man who is effectively a championship debutant. More about that in a moment. Diego Gastaldi of Italy in 9, bronze on the Europeans last year in Berlin. He's an aeronautical engineer. He built his own wheelchair. He's a former para rower. His other half, Eleonora de Palis, still is, and he's with the Sport No Limits Firenze club in Florence. In 8 for France, silver in the 1, 2, the 4 and the 800 in the Europeans last year. In Berlin, Nicola Brignone. In lane 7, the reigning Asian Games and Paralympic champion over 400 and 800, Ponsakorn Payo for Thailand. In lane 6 for Korea. Bronze in the 4 in the 2017 World Championships in London, but didn't, from Accra and the Go Get Them Wheelchair Racing Club, McLean Dzidzienko. He's also an international wheelchair tennis player, is Dzidzienko. So Dzidzienko, Alkurasi, Gritsenko, Yang, Yu, Payo, Brignon and Gastaldi. Top 3 into the final. Away first time, Payo well worth watching in 7, the defending Paralympic champion, as he will be next year in Tokyo. Silver for him in the 400, behind Brent Lakatos in London 2 years ago, and he's set his stall out very quickly here. Payo leads, Brignon of France in 2nd place. Moving up well looks to be Yu as well for Korea, the 47-year-old, but Payo blitzing it at the moment for Thailand. He's way clear of the rest. And when they straighten up, it'll be obvious what a strong lead he has. Payo in 7, going well is Yu in 6 for Korea. And Yang and China in 3rd at the moment has gone past Brignon. But Ponsakorn Payo is going to get the victory. Good time as well, 48.26 unofficial. Yu 2nd, Yang 3rd, and Brignon in 4th. 48.26. Very, very solid performance. Yu 2nd, 49.40, and that's a lifetime best for him. Yang coming through in 3rd, but not much doubt about Payo pretty much from the start. Well ahead of the rest. 48.24, a season's best.
Just to catch up with our men's club throw F32 final, one of the first events of the day to start.
And that's the fastest by a second clear of Fairbank, who won the previous heat. Lakatos was 49.99, but probably not going 100% tilt. And Brignon, a little bit worried in 4th as to whether or not he would get through, but I think he'll be okay. But what a start by Payo, and he just kept it going all the way through. He's got a major point to prove. Bronze in Doha 4 years ago, went on to silver in the Worlds in 2017, having taken gold in Rio in the Paralympic Games, the 400 and the 800. Thailand, a great wheelchair racing team across the board, and he's continued that on here. He won by over a second. Worth pointing out that Yu, 49.40, that's very close to Fairbank's winning time in the other heat. the other semi-final. Peo, Yu and Yang automatically through. Brignon with the small queue joins them as well in the final. Lifetime best for Yu and for Al-Qurashi. He's had a good championships. So Peo with the fastest time by a long way across the semis of the men's 400 meters. Fairbank, Yu, Lakatos. What a field. And Brignone may be an outside shot too. He's done it before.
Well, what you see taking place there is the women's shot put F37 final. Mina of China, the reigning shot put, javelin and discus world champion in the F37 final. There she is, number 3. Interesting one, New Zealand, Lisa Adams, the sister of the Olympic and world champion Valerie, who's also her coach. There she is. You may recognise a resemblance in the looks. Very similar. Everything's kept very professional, she says, when it comes to coaching. No personality comes into it. Her first major championship. Celebrates her birthday in 9 days' time when she'll turn 29 years of age. Lifetime best set this year of 15.21 metres. She looks relaxed, doesn't she? Disappointing for New Zealand, obviously, in the Rugby World Cup going out. So in the World Championships, the para-athletics, can she come up with something? Last pieces of organisation taking place. Field of 8 in this one. Also the silver medalist in 2017, Ying Li of China, will also be in it. But expectations, considering what's gone before her and her family, will be on that lady there, Lisa Adams. Who has come up with a world record with her first attempt, which is why she is smiling.
It's keeping it in the family, isn't it? 14:52 was a world record set in Auckland back in March. Well, as we see Arena Vertsenskaya now.
Put the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it? With Mina with the championship record also in this. But what a story for Lisa Adams. Well, Vertsenskaya has got some work to do. Lifetime best for her of 12.50, so she is way back as far as the world record goes. That Lisa Adams has extended that she set back in March of this year. $11.78. So the silver medalist in 2017, Ying Li of China. Well, that's out there around the 12-metre mark by the looks of things. She'll be going some to get near her compatriot Lisa Adams, who sits at the top of the pile. She's almost 2 metres further ahead than the championship record holder Mina. World record for Lisa Adams, breaking her own. 14.70 she threw. Quite a family, by the way, the Adams family. Not the one off the TV either. Valerie, her sister, the Olympic and world champion, and also says her younger half brother Stephen, who's a professional basketball player. He went in the 2013 NBA draft and has played 450 games plus for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA. So that is a family who know their sporting abilities. So Mina, the reigning champion in this, the javelin and the discus. That's out around the 12-metre mark with her opening throw. It was 12.95. Don't think that's going to be an improvement.
Classes T35 to 38 are allocated to athletes with coordination impairments who compete standing. The impairments typically affect the ability to control legs, trunk, arms and hands.
Yamara de Jesus, Cohen, 9.28.
Just to let you know, Mina, 12.54 with that second throw just then, so she doesn't improve on her opener.
Keeps her in second place. Cohen of Venezuela currently lying in 5th spot with that 9.28, a season's best in the opening round. Venezuela really expanding their program across many para sports, including powerlifting.
In lane 5 for Argentina, Yanina Andrea Martinez. In lane 4 for the People's Republic of China,
looking to improve on that 9.28, and she has 9 meters 60, but it keeps her in 5th spot.
Well, here's the lady who has broken her own world record. Now, it's an interesting story, this, for Lisa Adams. She was featured in a news article while playing able-bodied women's rugby in New Zealand and attracted the attention of Paralympics New Zealand, who invited her to try out for para-athletics, and what a tryout it has been. She broke a world record earlier this year. She's broken her own world record in her first attempt. Here she goes in number 2. Well, it's out there, but I don't think it's as long as her opening, 14.70 metres.
It's an extraordinary thing, of course, because if you're Paralympics NZ, and you ring up a potential new athlete and you say, well, we wonder what sports you could actually do. What might you be good at? Don't you have a sister who's not bad? And here she is, world record, 14 meters 70. That one, 13 meters 15. Nowhere near her world record mark, but that in its own would have been good enough for the lead. Sister, of course, Dame, as she is now Valerie Adams, the 4 times IAAF world champion and double Olympic champion. But in Skya, trying to improve on her bronze medal spot of 11.78. Back in international competition with Russia again.
fastest time ever seen by Shi Yiting of China.
So no improvement for Vertinskaya. Li Ying Li in 4th position. Silver 2 years ago. She needs to get up 2 positions if she's to get anywhere near that. And that's under the 12-metre mark. 11.55 with her opener. She's got some distance to get to her lifetime best. That was 13:48.
So there were season's best, personal best results scrolling through. We'll put them on the scoreboard. We're just getting the final finisher. The win was a slight headwind.
Yeah, 10:51, nowhere near as good for Li Yingli, who's been competing since 2012. So Zatinska of the Czech Republic with her next attempt.
She's won 13 major championship medals, 1 European title in the shot in 2014 in Swansea, world silver and bronze, 4 Paralympic bronzes. She's a bit of a fight to get up into the medals here, having had a miss in the first round. And that will see her rise up to 5th. 10 meters 52. In her career, she's thrown 11.5, and she'll need a lifetime best. Despite all her successes, a lifetime best needed to get into the medals. Caitlin Dorr now, for New Zealand, 7th in the javelin in Rio, and 8th in the javelin across the Gulf in Doha 4 years ago from Dunedin, coached by John Eden and Raylene Bates. 9:22 her best so far in round number 1. This is her 3rd throw, and that won't reach 10 meters, but she gets the white flag. She's thrown 9:23 as a lifetime best this year and come 1 centimeter away from that today. But we'll need to add an extra, realistically, half a meter onto it to go 1 place further up the leaderboard into 6th.
Alamari of Saudi Arabia, who is down in 8th place at the moment. Lifetime best of 4.95 with her opener, 4.75 with her second. No improvement on where she needs to be, so she'll stay in 8th position.
We've had 1 complete sequence of 3 throws. That was by Raheem Salam of Egypt. His best 35.60. And the next athlete to throw will be
Well, it's given us a foul. Now here's Mina. Took up the sport in 2004. And she's won a host of medals in discus and shot put and javelin. Also gold last year in the Asian Para Games in both the discus and the shot put. She's got her work cut out here though. That one given as a foul, so she stays in the silver medal position behind Lisa Adams of New Zealand.
It's got quite blustery again here. It is the 5th World Championship for Yamara Cohen of Venezuela, the Pan Am silver medalist in Lima. 9.60 in the second round has her in 6th place. She's a 9.87 thrower in her career. She took a break last year as she gave birth to her first child, a daughter. She only came back into the competition a couple of weeks before the Pan Ams in Lima and won silver in the shot, bronze in the discus. F37, remember, coordination impairment, the second least restricted of the 4 standing categories. But it is obviously in everyday life and sporting competition very restrictive. looks to be beyond 9 meters or there or thereabouts. When we first started working in para-athletics in 2012 as commentators, we devised with a few different athletes the best way of describing each category in as few words as possible. If you want to know more about the categories, please go to Paralympic.org. There's chapter and verse on it there. 9 meters 18 for Yamara Cohen, and she stays in 6th. Lisa Adams returns. Like her sis, world record holder. Like her sis, a world record breaker again. And she's in the gold medal position too. That's another huge one. That's another long one. She's well on the way to glory. There's no doubt about that. A brilliant throw, again, by Lisa Adams. Well, 14.70 in the opening round was an absolute smasher. Broke her own world record. 14.45. The third longest throw of her life. And she maintains top spot. That was a very, very decent throw by her. And more good news for New Zealand. Off screen, Daniel Aitchison has won a heat in the women's 200 metres T36.
Your assistant. Okay. Sorry, man. Always with you. Any problem?
Lee. Yin Lee. Going again for China. Only a couple of throws left in this third round.
We have someone.
Doesn't look as if it's going to improve in the 11.55 previously thrown by her. That has her in 4th position. 23 centimeters outside the medals. Verskaya is our bronze medalist at the moment for Russia. So, Eva Datinska coming up now. 10 meters 66 by Lee in the third round. Doesn't improve. After that excellent throw by 11.55. Hasn't improved on it in rounds 2 and 3. Eva Datinska, ex-Berna, coming now. That's a great throw, beyond 10 meters. So Datinska, 10.47 around her best mark. We've reached the halfway stage of the competition. Lisa Adams out in front for New Zealand.
Who's the next?
She's had some awesome throws in this event. She leads Mina by almost 2 meters. Lisa Adams, the world record throw, 14 meters 70, breaking her own mark from Auckland at the start of the year. Mina in the silver medal position for China for now, and Irina Vertinskaya in the bronze medal mark for Russia. Lee, Ying Lee in 4th for China, Eva Datinska 5th for the Czech Republic. Tight between 2nd and 5th, Lisa Adams way out in front.
javelin F57. We're approaching the final throw for the second throw. I'm not going to look at you.
Just a reminder that earlier this morning, Harry Balaz won the club throw. This is the world record throw, a magnificent one.
Next throw will be
from Adams. 14 meters 70. Has her in top spot, breaks her mark from March in Auckland. She's done it at her first World Championships. So Balaz winning the men's club throw. F32, Apostolos Kartanidis of Greece winning the men's shot put, F37. And Zhu Guha of China claiming the women's long jump, T11, complete visual impairment. Lisa Adams leading the women's shot put, F37. There's qualifying going on as well for the men's javelin, F57.
I was just going to say, it's lucky that we're in now, like, he's still in.
Lisa Adams, our leader, the world record, 14 meters 70, leading by 1.85 m. Amina of China in second, Vetenskaya of Russia is in third as we move from the shot put to the track.
It's the women's 400 meters T47 round one.
Again, the first three.
Sport classes from T42 to 47 are for athletes with a deficiency in head, stroke, or impaired passive range of movement.
South Africa.
Those in sport class T44 to 47 are affected by impairment.
Silver medalist in London 2012 and Rio in 2016. She was a silver medalist in this event back in 2017.
Representing in lane 7, representing
Bearer of Indonesia will go from lane 7, silver in the Asian Para Games last year. There she is, the world record holder, Anrun Wires of South Africa will go from lane 6, looking to improve on 2 years ago when she picked up silver, this time hoping for gold. Anastasia Soloveva of Russia. Her aunt, Olga Miniera, won 4x400 relay gold at the 1980 Olympics in Moscow. So athletics runs in the family. So it looks like we've got that issue sorted. Someone getting a little bit too close to the track. So the green card shown. No personal issues for anyone there. Outside interference, and we shall try again.
On your mark.
This is when the athletes need to focus. You're all ready to go. You're all ready to start. And then all of a sudden, you get asked to stand up and start again. So this time they are away in the women's 400 metres T37 first heat of 2. And it is the world record holder, Anruna Wires of South Africa, who streaks up to almost take the lead after only 150 metres or so. Also doing well further across on the inside is Amanda Rummery, but it is Anruna Wires of South Africa who's way out in front.
Soloveva of Russia also running strong.
A good 5 metres or so out in front, as a matter of fact, and Soloveva of Russia is in second position as they round the bend, and inside of her Shigemoto, who won bronze in Rio in 2016 and in London in 2017 in third position. But Wires, the world record holder from South Africa, is doing it easy as she comes down to the line. It will be her in first place, Soloveva of Russia in second, and Shigemoto of Japan, who comes home in third position. Well, the world record holder did it pretty easily indeed there. Was never really headed. 58.86, the official time which is given. So a good 3 seconds or so outside her own world record, but a very comfortable run for the South African. Looking to go one better than she did 2 years ago. Disappointment for her in London. Disappointment in the past 2 Paralympics as well. She wants to go out next year in Tokyo, having won Paralympic gold there. And she's on her way to working herself towards a World Championship gold here. Soloveva in second, 59.58. And Shigemoto in just over 1 minute flat takes the third position. Comfortable indeed. Minimal exertion, but maximum position.
Yin Li of China is in fourth place. Her best throw so far, 11.55. She's next in the circle.
Very comfortable. Confirmation then of the field, and confirmation now of the result. Wires in first place, Soloveva, and then Shigemoto taking the automatic qualification positions. Behera of India with a season best in fourth place. We'll be hoping for one of those qualification positions. Well, the shot put continues at pace. Lisa Adams of New Zealand with the world record. We'll go back to that shortly, but we have Heat 2 on the track with the medals update.
There's 4 gold medals now for China after that excellent success earlier this morning in the women's long jump T11 for Zhu Guha. That's their 4th gold medal. Brazil and Finland with 3 golds each. Bulgaria with 2. Rushdie and Stoyanov. And Ukraine came marginally close to another gold today in the long jump, having scored one last night. Oksana Subkovska in the T12, but this is the women's 400 metres, T47, the second heat of round 1. Well, quite a few championship debutants in this. Kadiatou Bangura of Guinea, Zinash Hakamo of Ethiopia. The Pan Am champion, Lisabeli Vera of Venezuela, goes in this, along with the Asian Games World and Paralympic champion, the best in the world, for China, Li Lu. It's the first three going through to the final, along with the next two fastest losers. Li Lu with gold in the 400 meters in Rio and in London. Did the treble 100, 200, 400 in Jakarta last year in the Asian Games. So Ethiopia, welcome aboard. Major championship debut for Zinash Hakamo, the recently turned 18-year-old. She's in 9. In 8 for Guinea, Kadi Bangura, her first major championship. She's in 8. In 7 for Chile, 4th in Rio and in London, Amanda Serna. In 6 for Brazil, Fernando da Silva, picked for the first time in 11 years for the Brazilian national team. Bronze in the 2 and the 4 in the Pan Ams. First major championship on a global stage for Lisabeli Vera. She's the Pan Am champion, and everything else is owned by Li Lu. Li Lu, with all those great successes.
Are you on marks?
Absolutely the one to watch in 4, and Lisabel Vera, the Pan Am champion, in 5 on the world stage for the first time. Unusual that the two inside lanes would produce a draw like this. They're just going to have to stand for the moment. Obviously it is T37, it is below elbow or wrist amputee. So it's a green card. Little technical stop and no more than that.
On your marks.
Li Lu in 4, Lisabeli Vera in 5, Da Silva 6, Serna 7, Bangura 8, Hakamo in lane 9. Women's 400 meters, T47. Away now, and Li Lu getting away brilliantly. Amanda Serna not going too badly for Chile either, who's been 4th in London, 4th in Rio in the last 2 global championships. Lisabeli Vera's going very well also in 5, just about to overtake Fernando da Silva, taking care of the stagger straight away. Li Lu going a good pace as well and looks very strong, and so too Amanda Serna for Chile in lane 7. Who was silver in the 400 meters behind Lisabeli Vera in the Pan Ams in Lima a few weeks ago. When they straighten up, expect Li Lu to be up there, and Lisabeli Vera as well. Hakamo's not going too badly either at the moment, and Serna for Chile. Serna for Chile is out in the lead as they straighten up, ahead of Li Lu, ahead of Lisabeli Vera. Serna fighting hard, and here goes Da Silva, but Serna's on her way to take it. Serna will win, and maybe Da Silva could take second there. She's moved up well. Li Lu just looked to be second. Da Silva 3rd, Vera 4. But Amanda Serna with a great run, the run of her life. It's a lifetime best. 59.54 for the Chilean, and that was just awesome. She was never in any doubt. Li Lu, the reigning Asian, world and Paralympic champion, in 2nd spot. Amanda Serna absolutely blitzed them all. The Pan Am silver medalist, whereas the Pan Am champion is run out in 4th. Da Silva there took 3rd. Fantastic win by the Chilean. Great start by her. Nobody else broke a minute. The top 4 will all qualify for the final. But Serna was just flying there. Such a margin in her favour in the closing straight. Li Lu still hanging up there. Vera was second for a while, but pushed down a fourth as De Silva broke into the top three, but Serna with a good winning margin of over half a second. 59.54 for her, fastest of her career. Lee in second, but Serna absolutely unimpeachable there. Santiago might be on the way to a massive result, a quick turnaround to look at the clock, to look at the rest of the athletes. And it was a fantastic win. Serna takes it, 59.54. Lilu in second, a minute .13. 200 clear of De Silva, Brazil in third, and Lisbeli Vera of Venezuela in fourth, also qualifies. Aruna Wires of South Africa looking to defend 58.86. Faster than Serna. Lilu, the reigning world champion, fifth fastest of the lot, but she's in the final. That's all she needed to do.
So the women's 200 metres T36, the first heat of two. First three go through. The championship record holder and current champion Shi Yiting in lane 4, and she gets away to a very fast start indeed, does she, as she heads around into the last 100 metres at the moment. It's a case of how far she can go. On the outside of her, it is Martinez of Argentina, but it's Shi Yiting. What sort of a time is she going to do? She's not running this as a heat, she's running this as a final. She's looking to break her own championship record. Wang Fang holds the world record. That was set back in 2004, 15 years ago. And that is a very quick time indeed from Shi Yiting, and she has broken the world record, 28.54 seconds for the Chinese woman, breaking her compatriot Wang Fang's record set in Athens back in 2004 at the Paralympics. Well, she was never headed. She went out like it was a final. Coordination impairment category, there was no impairment whatsoever there for Shi Yiting, the current world and Paralympic champion, and breaks a 15-year-old world record. There is confirmation of that 28.54, a world record for Shi of China. Martinez in second in the season best, and Ivanova also goes through, along with Tamsin Colley of Australia, their youngest athlete ever at the Rio Olympics when she was just 13 years and 362 days old at the opening ceremony. Not much older than that now.
Utterly incredible performance that was by Shi Yiting. We've had some morning of world records. Her on the track. Lisa Adams doing the same in the women's shot put, the F37, with her first throw of 14 meters 70. As we head towards the second half, deep into this competition now. F37 coordination impairment. Second least affected of the standing coordination impairment, but obviously in a global scale that is very impaired on a day-to-day basis. 4 categories of standing, 35 which is most impaired, up to 38 which is nominally least impaired, but still a major impairment. So Lisa Adams, her 5th throw, 14.60 we saw in round 4, which was another one to break her old world record mark from earlier in the year. Adams, can she improve on that 14.70? It's another good throw. It's well beyond the last marker, which is 12 meters. Every single one of her throws so far has gone way, way beyond that.
Boss, you are in the plan of the other side.
A fantastically talented sporting family. That's a red flag, by the way, so it was being measured, but it won't be recorded. She wasn't happy with it, actually put her foot out. That still looked to be maybe 13 and a half, heading towards 14. So in athletics, para-athletics, basketball, the Adamses are all excelling gloriously. We're into the final round then, and Amal Alakmari with a lifetime best, 4 meters 95. 8th will be her lot for today. But to come here and to do a lifetime best is the World Championships, no mean feat. If you see a few male wheelchair racers on the track, it's for a practice session now that the track action is done for the morning. Wrapping up with that incredible world record, they can go and train. So don't be distracted by that. It's not in competition. The competition that's happening, we are watching here. Caelan Dorr then, for New Zealand. Or it might be the English Kathleen pronunciation, maybe. We can ask after the competition. Javelin thrower in previous World Games, 7th in the Paras in Rio. That's decent, that's well beyond 8. Lifetime best for today, 9:47. Every throw so far has been beyond 9 meters, 9:23, a lifetime best going into this, and she's broken that twice. She showed a good indication of what was coming when she threw 9:22 in the opening round. 9 meters 50, the best throw of her life. She's 23. There's a long career ahead of her. The Pan Am silver medalist, Yamara Cohen, for Venezuela, after a maternity break, if you like, which only ended in the past few weeks. She's won the Pan Am silver since then. Gets the white flag. It's beyond 9 meters. If that improves on 9:60, she'll have done well. That was the season's best for her in round 2. Lifetime best 9:87. Might have been asking much from that throw.
It's a championship record. The championship record at 56 given as Peter Gruniers at 38.70 going back 13 years.
Well, she's come very close to the lifetime best. 9 meters 55 as we join Eva Detinska from the Czech Republic. World bronze in the shot in 2017. A couple of Paralympic bronzes in 2012 and 2016 as she rounds off the competition. And she was the trendsetter for quite a while. She was generally in the medals. And there's just a few others now who've emerged, who've overtaken her, like Mina, like Lisa Adams today. Detinska with another solid throw. The ones that have counted have been consistent. Her top 3 throws, only 4 centimeters between them. And she wraps up the competition. She doesn't improve. 10:48, almost nearly did that. Approaching midday here, just a couple of minutes to it. Evening session begins at 6 p.m. our time, 6 hours time from now. Li Yingli in 4th place for China, her final throw. 11:55 in the opening round. White flag, 11:50 she did in round 5. So she needed an extra 24 centimeters there to break into the medals. If not, then the medalists are set, but the order not yet. The margins would suggest that the top 4 are all locked in even before this throw, and Lee 11:21, she stays in 4th, so Vertinskaya of Russia gets a bronze at least.
So the top 3 sorted, but in what order? Safe to say at the moment, it'll stay in the order we're in at the moment. Vertinskaya in bronze medal. Mina, the championship record holder and current champion, in silver. And Lisa Adams at the top of the pile, and Vertinskaya won't be lifting herself up into silver medal position. $11.10 with her final one, so she hasn't improved. She takes the bronze medal. And it all comes down to what this lady here, Mina, can do. She won gold in the discus and the shot put way back at her home Paralympics in Beijing in 2008. She's had a storied career. 2 years ago, she won the shot put, the javelin, and the discus gold. But this time, she'll have to be content with silver in the shot put. It was a tough ask to try and get out near where Lisa Adams is. She gave it her all. Numerous golds across javelin, shot put and discus, but this one is a silver. 12.95, her best throw at the beginning. She takes silver.
Let's welcome her into the circle, Lisa Adams.
So Lisa Adams
well, what a morning she has had,
can't she?
And what a career is opening up for her. Well, can she round off with a brilliant parting shot? She started with a 14.70. That, a new world record. That good enough for gold. She's rounded off with something big again. Oh, that could be special. She definitely thinks it is. I think we all do.
She's had a 14.70 and a 14.60. Both championship records, both world records.
An absolutely immense effort again from Lisa Adams. So what's she gone and produced here? It's well beyond the last marker. Absolutely tremendous throw by Lisa Adams. It's another gold medal in the shot. She thinks she's got another world record. Absolutely tremendous by Adams. The celebration, she's done it. Her second world record of the morning. 14 meters 80 for Lisa Adams. Gold for New Zealand. Absolutely brilliant. So now there are two Adams sisters who are world champions, world record holders for New Zealand.
Oh, what?
Her first major championship, her first major title. It absolutely won't be the last. The sporting dynasty extends.
Am I allowed on the thing?
And it's worth pointing out in
Where?
World Para Athletics IPC competition, she's thrown 15.21.
Well, where does it go? Hang on. Is it this way? This way? Okay, thank you, Jen. Sir?
We know she can throw further, but she's broken her own world record twice today. Lisa Adams, world champion for the first time for New Zealand, 14 meters 80. Mina, the silver for China, and Irina Vertinskaya, the bronze for Russia.
28.49 for Hudka. So it's the final throw of the session. At the moment, he's in 5th place and won't make the final. He needs to throw 34.94 to make that 4-man final.
So it's been a morning of world records, both on the track and in the field. New Zealand and China, both recipients of those world records. Men's club throw won by Algeria's Lahiri Balaj, 33.89, his best. Ferha picks up a silver for Algeria, and Maciej Sochol with the bronze medal for Poland.
Men's shot put won by Apostolos Kartanidis. Lifetime best 15.43. Kingakov the silver for Russia, another lifetime best. And an African record for Ahmed Ben Mosla for Tunisia, claiming the bronze. Oceania record as well for Ben Tumasevi for New Zealand. What a morning they have had.
So Abdesalam of Egypt, lifetime best, winning the men's javelin throw F34. Thomas Mani, the brother of Henry, with a lifetime best, picking up qualification as well. And Baha of Cameroon, a lifetime best of him, in third position, qualifying.
Yimbanching, Odelov, Salem, the top three in the F57 men's javelin qualifying. Sun's beginning to come out again. China with their fourth gold medal coming in the long jump this morning. That absolutely incredible and very much dramatic T11 coming for Xu Guha. Brazil and Finland with 3 goals each. Bulgaria with 2. And then all those nations with 1 apiece. Great Britain with 1 through Paul Blake. Canada 1 through Brent Lakatos, and he looks in the form that he wants more. Italy with their first goal. Latvia through Igors Apinas. Mexico with 4 medals so far. Poland with 5. Great parasport nation. And Netherlands with that absolutely dramatic silver as well from their debutants.
So world records on the track, world records in the field as well. Thailand down there with just the 1 bronze medal. But for myself, Tolson Tollett and Will Downing, until next time, bye for now.